Okay, so we are back, guys. I am here. Hey, Glippies. We're doing another tutorial today. I'm going in straight with my professional primer, and this is how, after I do all of my skincare, I go straight into my primer. This look we're filming today, I actually filmed this for my birthday in January, child. I came straight home from walking my dog and did everything I needed to do, and I was like, I'm filming a look for my birthday, and I was up all night. So this is the result of that, which is why I'm not talking in this video, child. I said I'm just gonna go in and do my makeup and we'll do some voiceovers. So here we are. Okay, so now I am prepared to go in with my Boy and Cake concealer. I'm doing it in shade 9, and I'm using it to conceal my brows. So you can use this anytime you want to change the color of your brows. Right now I'm doing it so that my brows match more my blonde hair, and then you'll see me go in a little bit after and with my bronzing palette to change the color of them. Okay, so now I am going in with my Morphe bronzing palette, and I know we just lightened up the brows, but I'm utilizing this to deepen my brows up just a little bit more to complement my blonde-ish wig or blonde-ish hair. Also, sidebar, if you know that people wear wigs, it's great to compliment them on their hair, but say I like your hair. Do not be like, oh, I like your wig. It kinda is condescending. I don't know if anybody has ever said that before or told you that. I don't even know if you're the kind of person to say that. But if you are, stop saying, oh, I like your wig. I like your hair. Is enough. You'll also notice that with the brows, I went in with 2 different shades. So the deeper shade I used towards the tail end of my brow just to give it more depth and definition towards the end of it. And then I went in with my lighter shade towards the very beginning of the brow so that it has like a nice gradient and a gradual look to it. Okay, so now you see me going back in with my Bow and Cakeless concealer, and I am going in with a tone that's a little bit closer to my skin tone right now at the very beginning of my brows. And then towards the end of my brow, I go in with a slightly lighter shade to lift up my brow bone. I'm very intentional about the way I go in with my concealer because I don't like for there to be a heavy brightness around my eyebrows. I feel like sometimes that's a little bit too hard to blend, and as opposed to going too light, I go just a little bit lighter in the brow bone area just so that it's seamless. You don't want to have that heavy halo around your brows. I think that's very unflattering, to say the least. Okay, so now you'll see me going back in with my Cakeless concealer, I use this to open up my eyelid a little bit more. It helps to brighten the eye, and then also it's perfect if you want to go ahead and with more shadows and things like that. I feel like this gives me an opportunity to play with my lid space a little bit more too, just because it's opening. Whenever you go in with a brighter concealer, anything brighter just makes the space look bigger. So that's why you highlight. That's what you're bringing attention to. And although this color is a little bit different from the rest of my concealers, you still want to blend them seamlessly together. That's the biggest thing you'll notice me doing, is making sure that everything just blends seamlessly. And then I go in and I set after I like blend out my concealer and everything, I got them nice and blended, I go in with a light translucent powder just to set everything so that my concealer isn't creasing on my eyelid or anywhere on my eye area. Then I go back in with my Morphe palette and I use some of those same colors first to transition around my eyelid. So everything that's close to my brow bone, I use like the lightest color so that it looks natural. Again, we're not going for that like halo heavy concealer look around the eyebrows. Also, using your bronzers as your transition colors for your eyeshadow is like a game changer. It makes it so easy to blend out your eyeshadow because you already have like a good shade for your bronzer, or you should at least. Like your bronzer should complement your skin. So using it as your transition colors when it comes to your makeup, especially if you're going for like natural, neutral, bronzy glam looks, is ideal. And my biggest thing when it comes to eyeshadow is I say focus on my placement. Focus on how intentional the placement is. I use like a fluffier brush when I'm just blending out and transitioning my colors. And then if I want to deepen up my crease, I'm using a smaller, more compact brush. It's still fluffy, but it's still smaller. So when I place the powders in specific areas, it's because I want them generally to stay in those areas. And because my eyes are on a smaller end, I gotta be very intentional with how I place my colors so that I get the best effect or the best outcome from it. But just pay attention to like the detail of the placement is my biggest thing. If y'all want me to do more videos on like eyeshadow and different looks, like halo looks, this was one of my signature eye looks that I love to do. I call this more of like a neutral, like smoky eye. It emphasizes my eyes, and then I also like to use it to kind of lift them. But generally, I'm always looking to like lift when it comes to makeup, because that's just how you get the best result. You don't want your makeup to like drag you down. It just doesn't seem flattering. Now I'm going in with the deepest color in my Morphe palette, and it's not a black, but it's like a deep neutral kind of plum almost. It's not purple. It's real neutral. It's like a deep dark brown almost, or like a hint of plum, if that makes sense. And I'm using that to lift my eyes, but also I'm kind of using it to create a powdered eyeliner. And I'm going straight out and following like the way my eye is lifting up at the very end. I'm going to show you guys on the other side too, but just pay attention again to like the detail in regards to how you can utilize this to lift your eyes when you're doing your makeup. And it creates for a very soft, like natural like lift too. That way you don't necessarily have to do like a liquid eyeliner. You can just do like a powder liner to like lift your eyes. Now I'm using that same brush to deepen up my crease. And once I get that place where I want to, I'm gonna go in and fan that out with like a slightly bigger brush, but still like enough to where it's not gonna like just go everywhere. Also, some of my brushes are from like a little bit of everywhere, but these specific like silver, like gray brushes I got from BH Cosmetics when I first started doing makeup. I don't have all of them, but some of them have definitely stood the test of time. So if you're looking to like buy more brushes, I definitely say check out Morphe. They have great brushes, and then BH Cosmetics is like a staple when it comes to brushes too. And you'll go in and periodically see me use my transition brush again, just to make sure that all of the colors are blending like seamlessly. Okay, so now I'm going in with a little bit of concealer and a concealer brush to carve out that eyelid. So I'm pretty much doing a cut crease with this. You'll notice that I'm following the natural layout of my eyelid, and with the way I place the colors, it kind of already emphasized what my eyelid was like. So you just want to follow that same silhouette. You don't got to reinvent the wheel. Just kind of follow the way it's already naturally curving, and just perfect those lines with the concealer. And then once you got your concealer in place, I went in with this nude base color from this Trolls palette that I got a couple years ago, and that's one of my favorites. It doesn't have to be from that specific palette, but like a nice nude base color is what I use on my eyelid. After you got your eyelid concealer and stuff set in place, I went back in with that fluffy brush to blend out a little bit of the eyeliner, just so that it's a seamless, like gradual flow where you don't see like, oh, we went straight from this color to this color. It's like, okay, where does it start? Where does it end? I always blend them together. And less is more. It may look like I'm using a lot of product, but I'm really not. I go in and I may like tap the product once, and then I'll see like how much I'll see how well that's working, and if I need more, I'll go in and use more. Sometimes I'll use the residue that I have on my brush and I won't even go in again. I'll just be using what I already have on a brush to blend out too. So don't think that I'm using a lot of product. I'm truly just blending a lot. And with this, you'll see that I'm going, and I'm not necessarily showing you guys the full process with this eye all over. Just giving you another chance to see some of the technique on this eye, just a little bit closer to the camera. And I'm going in a little bit more with the specifics of the colors that I used on here. So hopefully that helps. I try to be as informative as I possibly can because there's no wrong or right way when it comes to makeup. However, if you want to truly be good at makeup, I say watch somebody that you enjoy their makeup. And if you're watching this, I would assume that you enjoy my makeup, or at least I would hope so. So yeah, I hope that this helps you guys. And with the concealer, how I'm like using this on my eyelid to create that halo slash cut crease effect. Look at how I'm getting like the concealer from like the edge of like the container. I'm not using an excessive amount of concealer. Again, less is more. Go in for the smallest amount. See if that's working well. If you need a little bit more, go in and grab a little bit more. Always start off with less because you can always add to it if you need to. If you go in with too much, it's harder to take that away. And you really don't want to have to take away any makeup. And now I'm going in with an actual black eyeshadow now. This is the first time I've used this black eyeshadow in this video. And I'm saying that because this whole time, like the depth that I've been getting from my eyeshadow hasn't come from a black color. But now I'm using the black to emphasize the eyeshadow, or not the eyeshadow, but the eyeliner. So I'm using it right at the very end corner, and I'm like lifting it up subtly so that my eye lifts more lifted. So it's very fine detail work, and I didn't cut the clip, so you guys will see like how detailed I'm being with the placement of the black eyeshadow, because I truly don't want it to get too muddy, which is why I'm being so meticulous with how I'm placing it. Then I did the eyelashes off camera. If you guys want to see a tutorial of how I apply my eyelashes, I will definitely record that for you. Just let me know down in the comments and I got you. Okay, so now I'm going in with my Juvia's Place foundation. I used 2 different colors. I used the deeper one on the underneath my cheeks, around my hairline, and a little bit underneath my jawbone. Those are because it helps to warm up the face, but I don't want my whole entire face to be that deep. And then I'll go in with my lighter color on the very inner highlight areas of my face. So you'll notice that I have like a natural kind of way of using my foundation to do a subtle contouring. The reason why you see me sweeping through my face the way I am is because that's the way I blend my foundation. You see me going into certain areas and like with the highlights, I'm almost cleaning up the lines of where I place the deeper color of foundation. And when I say cleaning them up, I'm like kind of like gradually like lifting up the placement of where I place the dark color, because I want, again, my face to be lifted, to look lifted. So if my contour comes down too far, then it drags my face down. But if my contour is more lifted, then my cheeks look lifted. So just keep that in mind. It's very strategic, but it's also very quick how I think about it too. Okay, so now I'm going in with my Cakeless Concealer, It looks like I'm going in with the shade 10 first, and I'm using this to brighten up underneath my eyes and kind of lift the outer corners of my eyes as well. And then you'll see me go in with a lighter shade on the very inner corner, and that's typically how I use my concealers to lighten up underneath my eyes, but I do it like gradually. So deeper colors on the outer, lighter colors on the inner. Also, I absolutely love this brush. It's not even a specific name of a brush. It's actually, no disrespect to this brush, but it's a generic brush that I got from this store called Primark. We have one here in Chicago, and I grab like 5 or 6 of them. I use them for my clients too. But who is it? Real Techniques has a really nice brush. It's not double-sided like this one. I'm sure they have double-sided ones, but a nice dome with like a nice density to it is perfect for blending out like your foundation as well as your concealer. So I would definitely say anything like this or similar to this. And again, check out like Real Techniques. I love their brushes too. Flawless. Also, you'll notice that I do not use sponges. The last foundation that I really loved, because it set so fast, it made the appreciation for the sponge go away, because when I was blending, my makeup would come off in patches if like I wasn't blending fast enough. Also, that foundation is just not good for a sponge, I learned. So you can definitely use a sponge with this foundation as well, but it just kind of got me from using a sponge altogether. Also, you'll notice I go back and forth between like both ends of the brush, and that's because I'm using like the foundation side to like blend out the concealer and the foundation together. And then you'll notice me go around my mouth with like the residue to kind of lift up that bronzer. I don't like to draw my bronzer too close to the front of my face, just because my face is already on the angular, thinner side. And with that specific kind of like facial structure, you don't want your like to contour too far into your face, because it kind of drags your face in. It makes it look too angular. For me, I like my face to look a little bit more plumper. So like I don't bring my contour to the front of my face. I keep it like right by my cheekbones, and I keep it behind so that I can open up more of my face. If I bring it too far in, then I'm like bringing too many shadows to my face. More so in like a hollow way. Like you don't want your face to look too Skeletor-ish, if that makes sense, unless that's literally like the look that you're going for. For some people, they want a little bit more of a slimmerness. But for someone who naturally has that, you sometimes want to like plump and just make your face look a little bit more on the fuller side. That's why a lot of people in beauty get like fillers and things like that. Also, it's just all about placement. If you place it in the wrong area on certain faces, like, you know, you'll be emphasizing the wrong thing. Unless, of course, you know, that's what you're going for, which is why makeup can truly make you look like you've had, you know, surgical enhancements and things like that, just based off of how you place it. Now I'm going in with my Laura Mercier translucent powder, and I'm using a powder puff to apply this to my highlight and crease areas first. So I place them right underneath my eyes, of course, especially if your eyes crease really bad. The moment you're done with your concealer, I will probably go in with this step and just press it down so that your eyes don't crease. And then right on the bridge of my forehead and any areas where you typically get lines or you smile a lot or you have a lot of expressions are where you want to go in with your powder puff. Everywhere else, I go in with a little bit of my translucent powder with like a nice fluffy, dense brush, and I just blend out from there. And notice how I use my brush to kind of also like emphasize my highlight areas and things like that. Like I don't use a lot of setting power. Talking about power, child. I don't use a lot of setting powder in the areas that I want to deepen or contour or bronze as much. So I'm a little less heavy in those areas, but I'll still do like a light setting of those areas with the setting powder too. Sometimes you just gotta get in there and get straight back to blending. Yup. So now I'm going in with the triangular like little makeup puff, and I use this to set underneath my eyes. I actually learned this from Complexions by Maya is her name on Instagram. She's so bomb. But these are my favorite. I actually keep these in my bag to help blend and set my makeup while I'm out too. It is blush time. This is my favorite blush. I love this blush so much. So I go in with the placement of my blush right typically where you would place your highlighter. I like to, again, I love for everything about my makeup to look lifted. If it's not lifting me up, I don't want it, metaphorically and physically. So this is why I place my blush right on the apples of my cheeks, and I don't necessarily bring it too far into my face. I keep it right on top of my like outer cheekbones, and I just gradually bring it in, just softly. So yeah. Okay, now we back in with our Morphe palette. Baby, this is one of my best investments, and it's so affordable. So now I'm using not the deepest shade in the palette, but one of the close to the second one for myself in this palette. to warm up and to bronze the rest of my face, going slightly underneath the cheekbones. And then again, you guys see how I'm not going all the way underneath my cheek to the front of my face. I'm focusing right towards like underneath my cheekbone and towards my hairline, keeping it very concise to those areas. And baby, do not be afraid to use your cheeks. Go ahead and suck those cheeks in just a little bit, and you know, smile a little bit, smile a little bit. Let's see where the placements of those cheeks are. Look at your face and see where you want your product to be placed. That's the best advice I can give you. Literally look at your face. It's like a canvas, like, okay, I want to lift that up a little bit more. Ooh, another tip that I have is feel for right towards your hairline underneath your cheek. You have a bone that emphasizes where your cheek starts. So like feel for that. It's like right next to your ear or right by your ear, and right underneath that bone is where I like to lift up from. That's my indicator of where my contour is going to start and where I'm going to start lifting it up from too. And if you actually felt for that bone, you'll notice that the area you just saw me working in was right. That's exactly what I'm talking about. It's that area where that bone is and where you want to lift up from. And then I use the rest of the residue from that bronzer to warm the bottom half of my face, so that when we set our face, all of these colors are melting seamlessly. Again, we want a very seamless application. We don't know where it started, where it finished. We don't even know what all you got on. We just know you look good. That's what we're going for, baby. Now we're going in and we are chiseling that nose, and we are going in with that Morphe bronzing palette again. And for me, I just, work up against the angles of my nose. And this is the same transition brush that I was using for my eyelids too. And I just like, pinch it, pinch it, pinch it. I don't have like a specific drawing technique with my nose. I just kind of follow it, and I just inch in closer and closer in small circles, so that I get to make it as narrow as I want it to look. And you can do this with all noses. Just keep inching in until you feel like, okay, this is how, I want my nose to be pinched today. And blend that nose contour up to your eyebrow. Best technique, especially if you have lighter concealer when it comes to carving out your brows. You want those brows to look seamless, so blend up to that brow bone. Now this step is only for people who have mustaches and want to keep their mustaches. I'm going in with my concealer, and I'm using it to lighten up my mustache and my beard. So again, this is how you would use that to, change the color to look blonde. If you end up going blonde and you want to dye your facial hair, go ahead and go in with a little bit of concealer, with a mascara wand, and boom, now we got blonde mustache and beard. You can also use a little bit of eyeshadow or any powder to color it if you choose to. Going in with that Morphe palette, those same two colors that I used for the brows, I'm going in just to give, a little bit more depth to the mustache and the beard. Now we are going in with the lip liner. I'm using a deep brown lip liner from NYX Cosmetics, one of my favorites. And now I'm going in with my see-through lip gloss. It's a lip glass from MAC. It's one of my absolute favorites. It's like a holy grail for me. I feel like this is the perfect lip combo, and I bring it all the way up to my top liner to where I drew that line. That shine just makes the lips look that much more like plumper, a little bit more bigger. Love this combo. And I'm going in with my eyeliner from Benefit Cosmetics. It's one of my favorites. And I use this to emphasize any beauty marks that I have. So I have one like above my eyelid, one underneath my mouth, one underneath my eye, and then sometimes I'll add a little extra one for flair, child. Now I'm going back in with a little bit of that deeper bronzing color from the Morphe palette, and honestly like a nice deep brown just right underneath my eyes, like directly underneath them, not even going too far underneath. I'm using it to just smoke out the bottom lower lid lash line. And because I didn't want them to look too dark, I went in with that powder puff just to clean up any excess and just to like keep it very concise to like that very particular area. Oh, so now I'm going in with my setting spray. I have been on a hunt for a really good setting spray, and I came across the Charlotte Tilbury one, and it's immaculate. It makes my makeup feel so secure. I don't feel like it changes the texture of my makeup. Honestly, yeah, I don't feel super hydrated. Well, I feel like hydrated, but I don't feel like an excess of like moisture or dryness. Like, it just makes my skin feel very secure throughout the day. That's the best way I could describe it. After my face is dry, I go right back in with my powder puff just to make sure that the areas underneath my eye, around my mouth are really set. And then I go in wherever there may be any texture, and I just like press in on like the forehead, on the very bridge of the nose, just to set and reinforce those areas. And I didn't go in with any extra powder. I just used whatever excess I had. Also, if you go in with like the residue from like your blush and your bronzer, the colors will be a little bit more pigmented if you go in just to like reinforce those places with your makeup. So they'll be a little bit more brighter. But guys, this is the final look. I hope you enjoyed it. Mwah.
But you can do this in your car.
So this is the look, y'all.
Personal car.
I can break you off, let your bitch do it all. No, nothing at all. No, nothing at all. I can break you off, let your bitch do it all. Sweet on me when I don't blow.